Getting to the money, I be getting to the back. People think I'm funny cause I always make them laugh. I ain't even being funny, I be really spitting facts. I'm about balance and I got talent. Every challenge I overcome. Low-key is savage, never be average. Give me a task and I'll get it done. Minding my business whenever I come in. I'm hitting in business while I'm having fun. I ain't worried about winning, but that would be dumb cause there's no competition. I already won, huh? Yeah.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing the full moon in Aquarius. Now, anytime we have a full moon, it's always opposite the sun. And then we also have Mercury and retrograde opposite Pluto retrograde. So this is Pluto and this is Mercury. And I already talked about the air trine that's happening with Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius, Mars and Libra, and the sextiles that made the kite formation to Saturn and Aries. Saturn and Neptune and Aries. So if you want to know more about that, you can go back to my Mars entering into Libra video to get more about that. And those will be playing out in the background of everything that I'll be discussing today. And I know that I also did mention the conjunction, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in Cancer, and this is going to be even more relevant with the Aquarius full moon because it's in the sign of Cancer moon, right? The moon rules Cancer, which connects us to this conjunction. Even though it's not technically connected to this at all, it's still playing a bigger role in the background because we're talking about the full moon. Okay, so let's try and break all this down. I will do my best. There's a lot going on. It's a lot. So we have the Aquarius full moon at 16 degrees happening on August 9th, which is tomorrow. The fixed signs will feel this the most. That's Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, as well as Gemini, because it's in the co-ruler sign of Uranus that rules Aquarius. And as well as Aries, because Aries is in Saturn, which also rules Aquarius. And so full moons illuminate things. They bring things to light. I think we're going to see a lot of full things come in full circle with this particular full moon. Just because of the connection to Pluto and Aquarius, which is a longer outer planet transit. And so what we're going to kind of see is every time the moon is in Aquarius, these themes will be playing out over and over again in different ways, helping us kind of break down what we no longer want to align with energetically to these newer things that might be coming to our awareness at this time, and what we're trying to align with moving forward. As well as anytime Mars is in an air sign, we'll get the same effect with the Pluto energy, just further helping us move more into this newer energy. And We also have the nodes changing from Virgo Pisces to Leo Aquarius next year. It could start this year. I haven't really looked, but I do know the next nodal cycle will be in Leo and Aquarius. The North Node will be in Aquarius and the South Node will be into Leo. And that's where we're going to see a lot of these things really, really, really come to fruition. So these things are going to be developing over time with those transits. I love this energy. I'm not even kidding. Like I'm super excited about these changes. There's always some bullshit, right? I don't want to sell cupcakes when I know there's bullshit happening. Change takes time, right? Patterns and habits take time to change. And so, we'll talk about more about what those things can look like. But for the most part, I think we're going to see a lot of changes with the nodal switch that will be relevant to this particular full moon. You can also think back 6 months ago when we had the new moon in Aquarius on January 29th, to see what was going on for you. And that can bring some clarity. Or again, you'll see something come full circle. And you can also think back to September of last year, which was the eclipse season when Mars entered Leo, and then it went retrograde in December and didn't leave Leo until maybe March, April. I don't really remember the date, but we had a pretty long period of Mars being in the sign of Leo. And that's also going to be playing a pretty significant role because Mercury retrograde has been going over that particular the degree that Mars was opposite Pluto and Aquarius. So there's a lot going on, a lot of changes, a lot of transformation, a lot of realization, aha moments, awakenings, realizations, really happening during this full moon. Also, Mercury that's in Leo is in the process of slowing down as we speak. Actually, it'll go direct 2 days after this full moon, and it will also start hitting degree points that the Grand Trine is in. The video that I did yesterday. And because full moons illuminate things, and Mercury's retrograding back to 4 degrees, which is where it was at the end of June. Major realizations about whatever was going on for you at that particular time. And so this can be highlighting major announcements, decisions, communication, conversations, ideas, even how you use your internet. If you're a content creator, you don't have to be, right? The way you interact or connect with social media. If you've gotten off for a little while, you might get back on. If you didn't get off, you might choose to get off now and start to use that time more productive, because Mars opposite Pluto, Mars trine Pluto, is like, it acts as like an energy conductor. Mars wants to take action towards cutting things out, cutting things off, and Pluto wants to transform those. So your habits and patterns can be changing to something more active, more creative, more anything that kind of releases endorphins. It's an energy of sex, right? And so sex releases endorphins. Now that those can be done in multiple different ways, but it can be like you feeling more sexy, more sex appeal. You notice that you're wearing um more I call this it's like the energy of mate call. Like it's saying, I'm single, I'm available, I'm ready to mingle, or, again, your sex life can amp up, or you're working out more, but you're noticing you have the staying power. Like if you were working out and you noticed that you would quit, or you gave up, or you didn't have the energy to keep going, you can notice that there's more amplified energy to keep going, to complete it, to move action. Mars wants to take action towards things. Um, this could this could really be again on whatever releases endorphins for you, but it's the energy of that. And because, Mars is in Libra, again, this could be about sex appeal, the way you dress. You might notice that you're being a little bit more sexy, or um, just putting yourself out there more, shooting your shot more, signing up to dating sites. Um, if you're in a relationship, you could be having more sex if you wasn't, or this is going to be more about intimacy and doing things together, going out. Um, or if you're single, you might be clubbing more, taking yourself out, because then you also have to look at Saturn. Saturn is in the sign of self. This could be self-pleasuring, learning your body. If you're not physically doing it, you're reading, studying, learning more. I do know a lot of Saturn energy can be about older men, or um, men who tend to struggle with, like, staying hard. We're all adults here, right? Um, and you could be doing the research on how to do that in a healthier way, like getting grass, or taking Guinness, or some lion mane vitamins and things of that nature. I know there are some other things. I'm not a professional here, but I do know that Saturn can come with this kind of energy. And the fifth house is your sex life, um, and um, Aquarius, moon in Aquarius specifically can be about performance anxiety, right? And not being able to do it, or not even feeling excited. At the same token, it could be that you can go longer periods of time without, um, you know, releasing, right? You have more control over that, or that you're manifesting who you want to have kids with, and you're doing it with intention. Um, yes, guys do that too. Um, um, it's, stuff like that. These themes can be coming up like really, really hot and heavy for some people. You got to know your chart and what else you have in your chart. And you might not be able to relate to everything, but generally speaking, these are themes that can be coming up, or that people have dealt with over the retrograde period, um, or just in general. And now you're starting to get answers, or you've gotten some kind of clarity around what the problem is, that you're now able to kind of deal with, take action towards, and, again, see that develop over time. Um, this could be with women and having children. Maybe perhaps you were trying to get pregnant and you couldn't for whatever reason. And now either you just, become pregnant, and or you find some type of solution that you start working towards to get pregnant. Um, this is definitely the energy of planned pregnancies with fixed energy here. Um, So it's things that you want, although again, there's always a higher vibration and a lower vibration to these energies. And I'll talk more about that in a minute, but essentially, those are kind of the themes that we could see coming up here. So, but major decisions, announcements, communications, ideas, um, emails, phone calls. If your phone was having problems, all of a sudden you can notice or realize that it's not happening anymore. Any of the typical Mercury retrograde things, whenever Mercury stations is when it tends to be more powerful. So you can expect power outages. Again, X is coming back, or you're concluding X is coming back. You've learned what you needed to learn from them, why they came back, what they really wanted, whether you're moving forward, cutting it off. All these types of things that come in full circle, that come into fruition. You're getting clarity and movement on whatever that decision or choice is for you. Making major decisions, big announcements, big developments, big changes, bold moves. And rest assured, the drama, there will be drama talked about for centuries, especially with celebrities, politics, um, and like big CEOs and big bosses and things of that nature. We're going to see the continuation of whatever stories have already come out and possibly more, for sure. Um, uh, what else? Um, this is definitely some kind of awakening or advancement that's meant to elevate people. Um, Yeah, and Sun is in its sign, its home sign, so it is pretty strong here. I don't think the Aquarius full moon is the strongest aspect here going on right now because Pluto's retrograde. I really, really don't. But I also don't think Leo's the strongest either. But nonetheless, Leo is in its own sign. It's strong here. Um, It wants to be the center of attention. It wants to express something creatively. It wants to be seen and admired for your unique brilliance. And so I do think that this can come up as a challenge with an opposition here. Um, Perhaps questioning whether or not you are doing something for attention. You starting drama for attention, or are you doing this for the betterment of society to make the world a better place, essentially? Leo's also the king and queen of the jungle, right? That rules with their heart. And so those questions become a lot stronger. How can I create something that's innovative? Um, how can I benefit a wide group of people? Um, and can you detach enough long enough to get out of your ego or pride to step back and look at the bigger picture, to really assess how to show up in a way that's in the lower vibration of Leo? Um, Definitely some secrets are going to come out here. I'm not going to lie, you could really start to realize that the people you have around you are yes men, jealous, envious of you, and you have to release them and let them go. You might find out that, people that you choose to hang with are not really upstanding people. They're not really who they say they are. They're not really showing up for you. You know, it's kind of the energy of watch, pay attention to the people who don't clap when you succeed at something. These things can start to become super, super clear and it's kind of shocking in unexpected ways. Or that you find out, if you're in a relationship, that your significant other has been sleeping with somebody and they got that person pregnant, or they got a family in another country or another city. Sometimes it's right underneath your nose and it's the next neighborhood. Things like this can come out, or um, you're realizing that you don't really want to date. It's not something that you're into, or um, this is more about your children and your children's life, depending on their age, obviously, that they're dating or not dating, or um, they're having a child. You can find out if you have children that they are super genius, or they have a talent that was hidden all this time, and now it just comes to the forefront and it's super shocking and unexpected. And you're like, how do I foster that talent within my child? And you start the process of, getting them on the right track, uh, building resources to get them in front of the right people and things of that nature. You can have a creative project that you really, really, really been working hard on, and now you're starting to reap the benefits of a recognition for whatever that is, or you're just beginning to understand what it is you actually want to do, or that you have a creative talent that you didn't know, and shockingly and unexpectedly it just comes up out of you, and it's like, oh shit, I didn't even know I could do that type stuff. um this could be friends falling in love with each other. um um Maybe perhaps the groups that you belong to, you're like, no, they don't really mesh with me or who I am anymore. Unfortunately, this can be finding out that a significant other is gay. That's definitely a theme here with this access, especially with Pluto being here. Or that, perhaps you're realizing the person that you're with doesn't really align with you. And when I say with, I mean just dating. It doesn't have to be a serious relationship. It could be somebody that you've just been kind of um, hanging out with for a certain period of time, and it was fun while it lasted, but maybe perhaps it's not within alignment with what you want anymore, and you kind of break it off and move on. Or that you do like them and you take things to the next level. Um, or that you accidentally get somebody pregnant in the phase of dating, but you never had any intentions on taking it to that level, and now you're stuck there and you're forced to kind of deal with those consequences. Um, we could see some things in sports, or you're getting into sports, or you're becoming again more athletic, working out, um, working on your sex appeal. Um, you're taking yourself out, you're dating yourself. All these kinds of themes here can be super highlighted at this time. And they're fast movement, with confidence, courage, and clarity. Um, mm, and then the moon isn't really that happy in Aquarius, because Aquarius can be restrictive. And the moon, um, wants to nurture, wants to care, but maybe, there's struggles with being intimate, um, giving hugs and holding hands. Um, it could be kind of detached in that way. Although I really don't feel that with this particular full moon. Now, granted, these can be some of the issues that are coming up that people are learning to deal with. Maybe it was something traumatic that you went through with a mother, um, or a mother figure, or another woman, or just past relationships that have not really worked out the way you had intended them to, and they've kind of made you cold, avoidant, you know, not really wanting to be close to other people, not really trusting people enough to get close enough. Um, but I feel like because the moon is connected to this Venus and Jupiter conjunction, which is supposed to be like this super amazing energy that has been unfortunately plagued by all these other energies, but we still have it for a whole year. Like Cancer loves being in Jupiter. And wherever Venus is, Venus becomes super supportive, um, whatever sign that it's in. And so, this is like, again, I've mentioned this briefly in other videos, but I feel like it's very nurturing, caring, loving, supportive. It shows love through cooking you a good meal, cleaning the house, having a clean house, having a peaceful home, having Aquarius can be like a communal home or um, uh, having a more digitally secure home. This is like having a ring um, camera ring. Is that what you call it? I don't really know. But digitizing your home or getting like solar panels or having like your like you can talk to your radio or your TV to turn on, stuff like that. um this could be um really just inviting very cultural, innovative art. I don't know why whenever I thought of this, because can be art, it's like the picture of the black lady with the American flag and she's having a baby. This is so Pluto and Aquarius, Cancer, Jupiter vibes. Art wise, it could be very culturally innovative or empowering, or there's some, you know, strong message there, right? It could be, that kind of art. Um, or um, perhaps the music you're listening to changes, or you're adding a very, um, I don't know, there's a part of me that wants to say weird, but a very different kind of vibe to your home. Um, or it could be that you're moving out or you're downsizing. So Aquarius, Saturn is about restricting. And so this is like um, either you're sacrificing your living conditions so that you can get a better home, like living out of your car for like 6 months, or moving into a trailer home, or um, uh, traveling but not living there, but staying there for certain periods of time and moving somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really have a home. Essentially, can kind of roam, especially with Jupiter. Jupiter is like the Lone Ranger in that way because it rules travel, but um, somebody who's bounces around from town to town or city to city or country to country. Um, uh, you could be moving in with family. Family could be moving in with you. Um, uh, yeah, I mean, I feel like I can say so much more about that, but something about your living environment can be changing drastically. Now, this could be that these things are happening literally because you don't have the money, or your house is being foreclosed, or you're not able to pay your rent, or things like that. The reason is irrelevant. Uh, but I think what the most important thing is that it's an opportunity, no matter how you screw it up, even if it might seem like, it's a sucky situation. Essentially, you know, if you have to move out, whether you choose to or you're forced to, with Venus here, again, you're going to get some kind of support, or you're now able to save. Venus is your money, budgeting, savings, and being able to now save more money to work up to something that where you can change your life and you can choose, what you want your living situation to be, and stay in a situation, unfortunate or not, but save money to do so. Um, yeah. Um, this could also be you finding out that a significant other slept with your family. I hate to say stuff like that, but um, it could be, or again, you're finding out that family members are really jealous of you. And you could be like, I don't even got shit. This is definitely black sheep energy. And you could be getting over this stuff too, and realizing what's so unique about you, or what your light that you emanate, because you lead from your heart. You're a sweet person, but you're real, you're unique, and you're realizing and accepting people just can't take your truth, your light, for whatever reason. Who cares? Who cares what the reason is? It's like it's coming to light full circle now. It's something that's allowing you to feel empowered and to move forward with courage and turn it into something. You know, do something with that energy. You might write a book, or you're just telling your story, and then it's inspiring other people who perhaps felt that way, and now you got a group, a new following, right? Doesn't really have to work out that way, but it totally could. um this could be things like um uh in-laws moving in, or you're having to expand your home or your space or something like that. Or you're just vacationing to see family, or with your family in a trailer. Um, this could be very hippie-esque, where you homeschool your own kids, you choose to not send them to school, or again, you're saving for that, you're working towards that path for that to be, outcome to become your reality, your new reality, how you do things, your beliefs, your morals, your ethics are changing. You can become more spiritual here, or be atheist and not believe, or just have a very different view of the world. Um, and now you're really a fucking outsider with your family, especially if they're like kind of sleep, closed-minded, dogmatic, judgmental kind of, or again, you're overcoming this, you're realizing it, it's out in the open, it came to light. These are things that were happening during the retrograde. You're accepting it now, and it's empowering, and you're moving more into that energy. You might decide to take some classes and again evolve within that space and turn it into something that you can now teach or make some kind of money off of in some way, shape, or form. In the same way, we can see more legal cases. We can see uh, our worldview is changing, our philosophy is changing. We're becoming a little bit more bohemian, um, uh, choosing to live more freely and not by the confines of these kinds of institutions, if you will. You can really start to feel like things are changing for the better, or you're awakening. You might have a hard time sitting still, sleeping. Um, yeah. If you've had any issues with family, you can notice that you're getting closer, you're working things out. Um, again, moving, buying property, land. This could also be like get-togethers, reunions, realizing that you have some kind of gift from your bloodline, legacy, or you're benefiting from that. This could be like royalties and things like that. I mean, obviously that wouldn't be for everybody, but these things can come up. You don't know that. Um, this is like memories, creating memories, reminiscing about childhood. Because Sirius is supposed to be conjunct this uh Venus Jupiter conjunction, the dog star. This is receiving memories, ideas, information, knowledge from the Akashic records, very ancient, old morals, ethics, beliefs, and philosophies. These are your Marcus Garveys and, more people like that. Um, freedom fighters, right? People who fought for to have a better world. We can also see that like they're coming out with more older stories and history about ancient knowledge and information and who this land actually really belongs to. I think reparations can be in this combination. Will it happen? I don't know, but there could be a lot of talks about it and truths coming out about how people deserve that and why and things of that nature. Um, this is looking through photo albums, pictures, again, reminiscing about your childhood, the good old days, and how so and so looks just like so and so, especially if there's new babies coming in. I do know with this Akashic record, it's the 8-8 portal. I'm just using a different word. It's the same thing. Um, the Lions Gate portal is the dog star Sirius, just so that you know, if in case you didn't know, um, that uh, all these kinds of celebrities that have been passing away, there could be more information coming about why the hell they passing away so young. Are they really dying from some, bigger authority that don't want secrets out and, all the kind of hoopla that goes on with the deaths of celebrities, but it is quite alarming how young some of them are and have been over the years. Like, why are they dying? Why is everybody dying from cancer? Like, what the hell is that shit coming from? But outside of that, with people having babies, we can notice that these souls, these spirits are being reborn back into these babies. And these will be the babies born at this time, around this time, during this year and last year, anywhere within the last 5 years, that these are going to be the people who change this world, this Aquarian utopian world that, everybody seems to think is going to happen. Um, and so we can definitely just be more focused on family and the talents that we got from family or just in general. Having a good time, having cookouts, house parties, um, doing cultural, ethical events. We can see a lot of those things happening. Um, um, this could also be like the passing of the baton with Saturn and Aries, the younger people taking over from the older people. And so there's a need to kind of have these circles, these meetings, these gatherings to learn who you are, your history, so you can pass that information down as you grow older and, teach the family who's who, who's your aunts, who's your cousins, who's your nieces, who's your nephews, with Uranus and Gemini, these are siblings, and, just understanding that whole dynamic and the importance of passing down stories and information and stuff. This could also be dreams, uh, grandparents, elders reaching out to you in your dreams, passed away loved ones reaching out to you in your dreams, or um, just feeling super connected to the ones that have passed away, or you're doing some kind of spiritual ritual to celebrate them in some way, shape, or form. Um, do 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 do. Um, I talked about raising the children. Um, This could also be like receiving like trinkets or jewelry, Venus energy, um, accessories, even money from family, some kind of material wealth, or again, intellectual wealth, or protection, um, support and love and care. Um, and then Aquarius is a fixed air sign. It's ruled by Saturn and Uranus. It lives in the 11th house. It's forward moving progressive energy. It's our hopes, our wishes, our dreams, our visions. We can actually feel like they're coming true, you know? Um, or again, we're just getting a better understanding of what's coming next and what we'll be working on really over the next few years. It could also be again distant and detached due to trauma. It can be um the need to be distant to step back to see the bigger picture, to get some perspective on things, which might be a challenge with Leo because Leo wants to be the center of attention and might not really be about that. You know, Aquarius is not selfish in that way. They want the collective, they want groups of people. Um, we can also see a lot of changes within schools, companies, organizations, districts to be more original and innovative. Um, the culture of schools, companies, organizations, districts can change drastically. Um, this could also be like the separation of identity of social norms, like I'm not gay, I'm not religious, I'm not male, I'm not female, I'm human, I'm alien. You know, I don't know what you call those people, but these types of things can come up. Again, a way of life, a way of living can be changing, whether you're living in your car, you're more bohemian, you want to move to a place where there's a community of people who are doing the same things to you, or a trailer park community, or um you're downsizing, or again, conserving, having less kids, more kids, more wives, more than one wife, getting married, you know, and mental fatigue. You know, this could be feeling super overwhelmed, again, sleepy, tired, drained. Uh, so make sure you're taking care of your nerves, your nervous system, which also relates back to performance anxiety, right? So yeah, I feel like I covered just about everything I can think of. Overall, I really do love this full moon. I think as we see this energy develop over time, solid. I love this. I love the new changes that are coming out of this. And yeah, there's still some bullshit going on. It's not all peaches and cream, but I think we'll see it. And it might not be next week with Mercury slowing down and moving direct. So we got another week of this kind of bumpy road and the blockages and frustration and aggravation with all of that. But after that, I think uh, green lights all the way around to start seeing some of these changes, acting on some of these changes just before, of course, eclipse season when, now Pisces and Virgo's highlighted. And so we got to get more realistic because, air signs is up here. It's not grounded. There's no air energy in this chart at all. So once we get that air, earth and water activated, we get a little bit more grounded and realistic about our goals, um, and more structured and uh, cleansed and, all that with the Virgo. I'll talk about that. But for the most part, I love this energy. I do. And I hope that people are seeing that and feeling that, even though they still might have some bullshit going on. So some pretty fucked up shit can be happening for folks. I don't want to discount that, but for the most part, look on the bright side, focus on that. And yeah, as usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.